What is it going, everyone? You got Crasher here, and I bring you guys a very different sort of video. This is more or less going to be a discussion / opinions video, and I have just been thinking about one single question for quite some time now, and this question dawned on me pretty much ever since the effects of E3. Has Pokemon died since E3? Well, here's my take. Now, before we go any further in the video, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to put out a very strong disclaimer here to take into consideration while viewing this video, and that is this. While this may appear to be a hot take, this right here is also just going to be based on my own opinions and observations, and I would also like to say that I respect the opinions of others as long as they are not outright attacks or insults on other people in this sort of discussion. Now, with all that being said and out of the way, hope you guys enjoy some Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee gameplay footage while we get underway with the discussion. Now, Pokemon Sword and Shield are games that have been anticipated on a very, very high level ever since their first announcement on February 27th during the Pokemon Direct. And it was ever since then that the hype has been at an absolute high, especially for myself personally. In fact, I was so excited to have new Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch, as the Switch is the latest and most up-to-date gaming console with enhanced graphics and much more potential for there being more content. So then moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, it was on May 28th where Pokemon Home was announced, and this was a new and improved storage system for all of your Pokemon across games like Pokemon Go, Pokemon Let's Go, and Pokemon Bank. Now, this feature seemed really solid in my opinion at the time. However, we were unaware that some important key information was left out. More on that later. Now, it was on June 5th that we had our second Pokemon Direct, and it revealed a ton of information for all of us fans to get really hyped about for Pokemon Sword and Shield. From new Pokemon to new features to new characters to the titled legendaries. Things were looking very, very promising. And not to mention also, there was E3 around the corner, and with there being an announcement that there would be a playable demo for E3 attendees, the potential for more information being released was on a fairly high level. And then, ladies and gentlemen, came June 11th. This day showcased a lot of interesting information for Pokemon Sword and Shield. We ended up getting a good look at the wild area, as well as learning more about new features. But then came what I felt was the death blow for many fans of Pokemon Sword and Shield. They announced that only Pokemon that appear in the Galar region Pokedex will be available in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, in translation of that, you will not be able to transfer any of your Pokemon from Pokemon Home if they do not appear in the Galar Pokedex. So, where does that leave those Pokemon you now stored in Pokemon Home with no way back to their original games? Pokemon Home is a one-way service where once you store your Pokemon from past games and Pokemon Bank, there is no way to undo this. Now, this choice has enraged thousands, if not tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of Pokemon fans across the boards, and it has made their Treehouse video accrue over 50,000 dislikes in a matter of days, which in my opinion is very alarming, especially for a popular franchise like Pokemon. This definitely should be taken under careful advisement. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely can and frankly do appreciate Game Freak creating another main series Pokemon game for us fans. It seems like that this could come off as a rushed game because of the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that there have been things showcased and pointed out that shows the incompletion of the game, such as at the E3 event. Granted, we do have 5 months or around about there until the game's official release, which does give time to patch things up. However, it doesn't make the game look good overall initially. And here is a quote from Nintendo's own Shigeru Miyamoto, which states, and I quote, "A delayed game is eventually good, a rushed game is bad forever. Truer words could not have been spoken in this situation here, as Pokémon Sword and Shield may come off as rushed to some fans. Pokémon is the highest grossing video game franchise of all time, even higher than the likes of Mario, which is really crazy if you guys think about it, especially given the fact that Mario has been around a lot longer than Pokémon. Knowing the popularity of Pokémon, Game Freak is aware of how hyped fans will get over new releases of Pokémon games. Pokémon Sword and Shield are games that are coming out on the Nintendo Switch, which is going to naturally excite a lot of people, but why rush out these games? Wouldn't you want to put in the utmost care and quality into the games to usher in a new generation of Pokémon? I personally do not get the rush overall across the board, anime included, because I am aware of the fact that there is the Pokemon company that wants to have things like merchandise, have things like anime come out to promote Generation 8. But I personally don't get the rush. I mean, that's just my thing. I mean, if it means that we have to wait for a while before we get the new games, then so be it. If it means that we get to enjoy the games to the fullest without any cutbacks or limitations, then that is fine, personally speaking. Also on that note, if Game Freak claims that they do not want to make people wait, then why is it that they aren't putting all of their resources, efforts, and time into their biggest cash cow if they want to make the games come out in a timelier fashion? They have other projects that they are working on, including a game called Town, aka something that is more exciting than Pokemon. In my opinion, that is spreading their resources way too thin. Hence why likely there wasn't enough asset support to accommodate for all of the Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Now don't get all this twisted. I do not want this to come off as a bash Game Freak campaign, as this is not at all the intention. And if you guys made it this far, well, I've got 3 solutions I would personally think many would be happy with, or at the very least be content with. Number 1, delay the release of the game so that this gives more time and energy to smooth things out and to allow for every Pokemon to be accounted for in the Galar region by having a national Pokedex. Number 2, add in patches into the Pokemon Sword and Shield Switch games over time. There is no reason why they can't do this, as patches are added in all the time to various other games. This will allow for the fans to still get the game at the intended release date, but will also accommodate others who want to bring in their past generation Pokemon into Sword and Shield. And number 3, hire more people to help with the developmental aspects of the game, or delay other projects and have all your sources invested as much as possible into the completion of Sword and Shield. Now don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, I want to, and frankly most likely will, enjoy these games for the pure and new experiences that is offered in Pokemon Sword and Shield. However, on that note, I also want to be able to continue the journey with my past generation Pokemon as well, with Pokemon Sword and Shield being a fresh new Pokemon game in the main series. And with that, I'm sure there are many fans like myself who feel the same way. However, I'm only speaking for myself. I can, however, attest to the disappointment of many fans, as the recent events have made people question the future and security of Pokemon. One such example is the removal of the National Dex, which has sparked a frenzy in the Pokemon community, such as with the hashtag #BringBackNationalDex. If this is what the future now holds for Pokemon, then many fans may start to lose hope, or already have lost hope and may outright leave the community and disenfranchise themselves from Pokemon as a whole. And I personally do not want to see that happen to anybody. Now, I also understand their reasoning regarding the balance of the game given the sheer numbers of Pokemon, so here is another solution to balance things out. So let's take Smogon as an example. Take what Smogon does as an example. They have all of the 800 plus Pokemon ranked in tiers. Every single one of them, forms included. Maybe we can have that sort of concept applied to Sword and Shield Battle Spot. have a tier as an example where you can only use Galar regional Pokemon, and a tier where you can use any Pokemon regardless of what generation they are in. I also think that if they really want all trainers to experience a fresh and new adventure with the challenges ahead, Pokemon Home should not be made available until you have completed the whole game, so that way it allows for you to be limited to the Pokemon you have available in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So the question I posed earlier in this video and also in the title, has Pokemon truly died after E3? Well, that's up to your own interpretation. However, I personally think Pokemon has taken a hit from these recent events, but it can be fixed. Pokemon has not died. If Game Freak exercised their intelligence and came up with a solution to correct what took place, I feel very strongly Pokemon Sword and Shield can make a very strong comeback on the hype train. And if it means that the Pokemon Company has to delay things such as Pokemon Sword and Shield, the anime, merchandise, etc., in order to make the product overall just that much better, then from a business perspective, I feel that that right there would be the better thing to do. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, leave your opinions down below. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you all for watching, and have yourself a good day. I'll see you guys in the next one.